To the regular City Council meeting for February 10th, 2026. Appreciate all of you being here tonight. If you would please make sure your phone is on vibrate or silent so that our meeting is not disrupted, that would be wonderful. With that, I'd like to call this meeting to order, and we have a quorum, Ms. Bevan. And if you would all please stand for the invocation, and by the way, it is 6 o'clock. For the invocation, and move on, so we can give the invocation and then the Pledge of Allegiance.
Heavenly Father, we thank you for this day, Father. This is the day that you have made. We shall rejoice and be glad in it. Father, I thank you that we're here to do city business, Father, and that we do what's right in our citizens' sight. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Pledge allegiance to the United States flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Now the Texas flag. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible. I did not receive any speaker forms this evening, correct? Okay, so then we'll move on to the consent agenda. Item number 4 on your agenda, consideration of possible action on the City Council meeting minutes of January 13th, 2026. Item 5, consideration of possible action on the City Council meeting minutes of January 27th, 2026. Number 6 on your agenda, consideration of possible action on the quarterly investment report for 4th quarter 2025. Number 7, consideration of possible action on a resolution calling for a public hearing to be held on February 24th, 2026 on an application by Chesmar Homes for a special use permit to place a temporary construction trailer on a residential lot located at 702 Gunner Court in the Redbird Meadows Development known as Briarley. Council, would you like to take these cumulatively or individually? What's your pleasure?
Cumulative.
I second that.
Make a motion to take to accept the consent agenda cumulatively.
The motion by Mr. Olson to take the consent agenda as presented. Seconded by Ms. Fox. All those in favor of accepting the consent agenda as presented, say aye. Aye. Those opposed say nay. The ayes have it, the motion carries, and we will accept the consent agenda as presented. Public hearing. The City Council will receive comments from the public on the below listed items. Speakers will be limited to 3 minutes each. Persons wishing to speak during the public hearing portion of the meeting must sign in to participate prior to the meeting being called to order. Okay, thank you. Regular agenda. Item number 8. This was tabled January 27th, 2026. Consideration and possible action on a resolution of the City of Montgomery, Texas, approving an amendment to the City of Montgomery Policies and Procedures Manual, Section B1, Conduct and Discipline, reference number 6.08, subject to use of city vehicles as attached as Exhibit A, and further providing for effective date, severability, and finding and determining the meeting at which this resolution is adopted was open to the public, that the public notice of time, place, and the subject matter of the public business to be considered was posted as required by law.
Mayor and Council, this one was tabled from last meeting. This is in regards to the city vehicles. We were requested to look at increase in mileage, and when we did that with the item number 9 that's coming up next, we looked at cleaning up the language and making sure everything met compliance, and so this is brought before you for consideration.
Chief, do we already have a take-home policy?
We do have a take-home policy. This is also a cleanup of the city personnel manual that has been needed since around 2008. So it was part of the cleanup. And once we got to the point of looking at take-home vehicles, we needed some other things in this cleaned up. We need some things in here to match not only that, but the police policies as well. And we're going through all the policies now and all the personnel policies. in cleaning all those up and making changes in them, so you're gonna probably receive a lot of these. But this one happens to be on what we'll be talking about tonight. And so we needed to clean up for this part.
So when you say clean up, modernizing or applying it applicable to today versus 2008 when it was written?
Absolutely, as we talked about, because when we looked at the police policy, it didn't match anything that we had here. Also, there were some other things that needed to be put in. They only had 15 miles also since 2008, and 11 officers, 11 people in the city that work here live anywhere from 8 to 14 miles. But so what we're going to talk about tonight is the reason why we wanted the 35 miles added to that. So it's really just a cleanup of the policy. That's what we got.
Do all officers take a car home now?
No, ma'am, not at this time.
Will they, if this is in effect?
Not this, but the next item. If you approve the next item, yes. And they'll only take those cars home on the days that they're on duty. The days that they're not on duty, their cars will remain here. And once we get to the next item, there's some specific reasons why we're looking at doing this.
So right now, we're just looking at the changes.
Right now, you're just looking at a change in personnel policy.
Because I'm gonna have an issue with the 35 miles, and I don't see how that benefits us to have our officers, vehicles in some other community. And, what good is it gonna do Montgomery, to have those vehicles in another place?
The good it's going to do Montgomery is once we get to the next item, I'll explain to you why it's going to do us some good. I mean, if you walk around or if you drive around in this city, in any other city, you can drive in any subdivision out here. You're going to see DPS cars. You're going to see Harris County. We got a Harris County car parked right outside in our parking lot. That's their take on thing. You're going to see cars from Willis Constable's office. So it's just things. So it's not a matter of what it's going to do for Montgomery because it's out somewhere else. Say, I think the farthest guy we got is maybe up to Tomball. So when you say what's it going to do for somebody that's there, it's not so much as there as it is the response to what we've got going on in the city if that officer has to come back to this city.
Okay, so, but who is this going to benefit? Because you and the lieutenant and the sergeant and the detective already have the authority to take your vehicles home.
Right.
So who are we adding to be able to take their vehicle home? I mean, is that in this thing or in the next one?
It's in the next. It's in the next.
Okay.
Yeah, this specifically is in the personnel policy, and it changes the mileage from 15 to 35, and that's all this part is.
We're just making the policy update.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so I just wanted to make sure it wasn't past this so we can read the next one and then we basically.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to, I mean, they all connect here, but yeah, this is specifically the policy for that.
All right.
That's the only change?
That's the only change. Well, there were some other changes in here, but it's those changes of the regulations and things that a take-home vehicle you can do with a take-home vehicle. But what we look for is change the mileage more than anything else. The mileage change to 35.
Yeah, and as we change these, just for reference, we're going to clean this up a little bit even more because of what TML suggests us to do. So there is more coming, but this is just, if this is going to be adopted, this is what we're going to do, kind of language.
One more question, quick. All our cars are GPS tracked? Okay. Make a motion. Do you have any questions?
Make a motion?
Make a motion to accept item number 8 as presented.
Motion by Mr. Olson that we accept item number 8 as presented. Seconded by Ms. Fox. The motion is debatable, amendable, requires a majority vote. It's open for discussion. All those in favor of accepting item number 8 as presented, say aye. Aye. Those opposed say nay. The ayes have it, the motion carries, and we will accept item number 8 as presented. Number 9 on your agenda, tabled January 27th, 2026. Consideration and possible action regarding approval of a resolution of the City Council of the City of Montgomery, Texas to adopt City of Montgomery, Texas Police Department Take-Home Patrol Unit Program.
Okay, thanks, Mayor and Council. Councilman Steen, you were talking about how is this going to benefit the City of Montgomery. We've
I want to know what police officers are going to benefit.
what the police officers going to benefit?
Yeah, I mean, are we changing, are you allowing different other people besides you and the lieutenant and the sergeant?
That's the idea.
That's what I want to know. Who's going to benefit?
It's going to benefit the City of Montgomery. Here's what we've done. We've taken all those specialties that we've got, guys who've got drones, guys who do our crime scene, guys who do our accident reconstruction. All those cars have been equipped with the tools that those people need to do their job. We've got 2 cars, we've got 2 drone operators who can take those drone operations up from anywhere they are. They would have to come back to the city. And when they have to come back to the city, it's not unusual for a police department to have those emergency responses, and then those people have to come back to the city. If I've got to come back to the city, and then I've got to come over here, I've got to get my car, that means I've got that much more time at an accident scene that I'm not there. I got that much more time at a crime scene that I'm not there. I've got that much more time that I've had to put a drone up when we're looking for somebody, we had to put a drone up. So that's what it's going to do. It's going to also help us financially. Last year in 23 and 24, we put in our maintenance for $36,000 for maintenance and repair. Tahoes were giving every department a lot of trouble at that time. We spent a lot of time on our Tahoes. We went more than $10,000 over on those budgets for 23 and 24. We came back in 24 and we said we had to look at another way to get this maintenance cost down, because we had vehicles. We had 7 people who were already in vehicles who were taken home. We had 4 other vehicles, and we had 9 people driving 5 vehicles. So when you got 9 people driving 5 vehicles, you've got 2 people on each shift. One person's coming off of one shift, he's driving that car. Those are 12-hour shifts, which is 24 hours. You come back, if you get a car that breaks down, then somebody that's coming on from that morning shift, now they're in that car. Now that's 36 hours on that car. That car is wrapping up miles, and it's wrapping up maintenance. And that's what was happening to us. We were losing cars. So what we did is we went into a lease program with Enterprise Leasing. It took our costs down for purchasing cars, and so what we did was we just put our equipment in that we needed to equip those cars. We took that $36,000, and instead of going over $10,000 over our budget, we took that $36,000 and we took it out of the general fund and we put it into the CCPD. But the point we put it into CCPD, we made it $25,000. Because we thought that, okay, we're on the track to where we need to be with these take-home cars and having each person to have their own cars. They're responsible for the maintenance on it. To date, we are 4 months and 10 days into this budget cycle. We've spent $3,400 in maintenance. If you track that, we're on a path to spend less than $12,000 on maintenance. The other part of that, you say, okay, well, fuel is going to go up. You're absolutely right. Fuel is going to go up. We figured on fuel is going to go up about $4,300. So with the savings of that $10,000 and putting it into our fuel, we're still saving money. So when we talk about, and this is not, and like we talked about, this is a program where these officers will take these cars home while they're on duty. The days that they're not on duty, those cars will be here in this parking lot. But it's going to benefit the City of Montgomery to get our officers. We've only got 5 officers that live approximately 15 to 28 miles outside of the city limits. The other 11 live 8 to 14 miles outside the city limits. So it's a win-win for this this city and for this department. And we've got these guys who've got these special training, and those cars have been equipped with the equipment that they need to do their job when they come back.
And it's also one of those benefits too, to keeping officers here. It's another benefit that we offer.
And that's
It's a
not
big
even-
deal to offer that. If you look at, there's a lot of police departments.
It should be an incentive for people to come work here, that they're gonna.
Well, you talk about that being an incentive.
Well,
Yeah.
I don't know that it's not the driver, for
You
sure.
got a lot of
But
places.
it's a benefit.
You got a lot of places where that could be an incentive. That could be an incentive here. But our main goal here was to get the emergency response we needed and to get the cost of these things down. When you've gone over your budget, you guys don't pay me to go over a budget every year.
Do we have a mileage limit
And
with Enterprise?
we couldn't help. Big pardon?
Do we have a mileage limit with Enterprise?
No.
What we do with Enterprise is once we get our cars in, we go,
On a
it's
rotation.
55,000 miles or 3 years, and then we make the trade-in. What an officer right now is putting on a car, 1 year is less than 10,000 miles. It's about 10,800 miles is what we're putting on the car now. So that's taken away from cars that we were driving with 1, 2, 3, 4 people and putting more than 50,000 miles on a car in about a year and a half. So.
And Stan, you realize their rotation, so they work 5 days and then they're off for 2 or 3, and then they'll go back and work for there's a rotation. So those days that they're off, it's just when they're coming in to work the next day, that's when they would take them home. The days that they are not working in the city, that they would stay here. And then they would drive here and then take the car back and forth while they're on their 4 or 5 day stint, 6 day stint, whatever that looks like.
And this is not one of those, okay, once you guys pass this tonight, it's set in stone deal. Myself and Mr. Walker will be monitoring this, and if it gets to a point, or if it gets to any point where we don't think, where we think we need to stop, then we'll stop. I don't think it'll get to that. I think these officers are responsible, just like you see other officers driving in cities with their cars. They take them, they should park our cars in their driveway. They can't park them on the street. They've got to be where they're secure in their driveway. They don't have to park them in their garage because we don't want to take the wide space. But at the same time, it's a good deal for this city.
You know that since I've been here, I've been a big promoter of the police department and
Yes.
and I want to do everything possible to help y'all succeed and make your job, more rewarding. But I still have to take issue with the fact that we look at benchmark studies from the Michigan State Police, the Prima County Sheriff's Department, and Salt Lake City demonstrate that take-home vehicle. I don't give a rip about these out-of-state agencies.
I understand what you're saying. When we look at that, and most of what we do is when we look at anything, when we look at policies, we look at the International Association of Chiefs of Police and see what the best practices are, and we take those best practices. Now, when the lieutenant was putting those in there, it wasn't to say, okay, these are all out of state, because we know very well here in Texas, here in Houston, here in Montgomery County, that people have take-home policies in their cars that you will see in all these neighborhoods where they have a similar take-home policy.
We just raised water and sewer rates, but we compared our rates with Conroe and Magnolia and other comparable issues around us. And the same thing, I think, ought to be applied with police, because that's our competition. Where are we going to get our future police officers if we're not competitive with the surrounding cities that we operate in? You see what I'm saying?
But when you talk about being competitive, this is not one of those competitive things. We're not trying to be competitive with someone. We're trying to make sure that our officers that are equipped with those special details have their cars at home. When we get an emergency, they can come back to the city of Montgomery and take care of the things they need to take care of. It has nothing, this has nothing to do with being competitive, because as I stated a couple times here, it's really about when you see other agencies, everybody has a take-home policy. for a very long time, some agencies only had take on policies for chiefs, captains, and lieutenants. Chief, captains, and lieutenants are not the boots on the ground. They're not the people that's going to be coming to those scenes to take care of those things. And so we've got a responsible group of officers that's going to come back to the city and take care of their job if they live outside the city. And like I said, I think what we've got is probably 15 to 27 miles actually. But we did the 35 to put some buffer to it. So we're not trying to be competitive with any agency, not here, not across the country. We're trying to figure out what's best for Montgomery, and we've already talked about the savings that this has done for us already. We put this in CCPD last year, and we put $25,000 in this year's budget. And like I said, we're on the path to spend less than $12,000. When it was costing us almost $56,000 because we were over on budget.
Well, you know, I'm not going to argue with you about it, but to me, what I see is if we don't stay competitive with our police force and our salaries and our benefits, how are we going to attract other people? Because this is a growing community, and you know yourself, we're going to need more police officers.
Leadership also attracts people.
Yeah, we're doing that.
Attracts them.
Yeah, that's the biggest driver, and I think we've got an outstanding name, and they've got a long list of people that want to be here, so I think that's the biggest benefit, and it's the biggest reason to be here.
And let me say this, when you're talking about competitive, this city, this small city is probably more competitive than a lot of cities that are a lot larger. I think we put together the things here. I think we put together the salary, the culture, the training. We put those things together. We don't have, right now, we've got 2 officers in the academy. We're not missing any officers. I talked with other chiefs last Tuesday. They're missing 7 officers, 5 officers, 6 officers, 10 officers. And they can't get those people to get hired. We still got people who are calling us on the phone, sending us emails every day, wanting to know if we're hired. So we're competitive. We put that together. We put this as a place where you want to work. I don't think there's any officer here that's disgruntled. I'm not one of these people who don't want you talking to the officers. I promise, I let you talk to any of my police officers at any point. And if they don't tell you that we're doing the right thing, then we're making things right. So when you talk about competitive, as far as other agencies, we're there. We're absolutely there.
I know, you guys do a great job. Good attitudes, that's what I like.
Good leadership.
Yeah.
Now, what about the insurance on the vehicles?
The insurance doesn't change.
It didn't change.
No.
Same.
TML is
Yes,
okay.
TML, yeah, it doesn't change.
Because they're really on duty until they park it, correct?
Yes.
But in the olden days, you had to tell them you were gonna be a going home car.
If it turns into where their children or their family are in these cars, and then some of that kind of stuff, which some of the old policies of other cities do, that changes the risk profile. I will say, I've experienced this a lot through my career, and one of the benefit, it is a benefit to the officers, they get to take it home, and there is a benefit there, but also there's a benefit to the city that's maybe not seen, is these guys take care of these cars. They personally feel like that is their car, and that's something that we've seen, over the time that actually works out really good, because if you've been in one of the patrol cars that goes through every shift, those things, if they last 3 years, you're lucky,
Because through every shift, they have to keep the cars on. So
yes, they never turn on.
Inside with all of the mechanical pieces in there, and then that engine. And so this is great too, like when they work their shift, and then they go home, at least that engine and all of that gets a rest.
That's good.
But it's
For preservation.
In 23 and 24, we had a lot of issues with
we've seen those
towers.
bills.
Matter of fact, we've gone to the Rangos at this point because we were sending those cars. Some of the stuff we got worked on because of it had warranties on it. and other things we were having to pay for. I don't know when's the last time you've been to one of these dealerships to get your car fixed. It's hugely expensive. When someone tells us that, okay, yeah, this is like $1,400, but you know, it's gonna cost you $27 because we gotta take the back off. And it's like, really? And I mean, what do? You pay for it because you gotta get that car back into action. And so now with just these people having their own cars and their cars being equipped with the things that they need, it's gonna work out. And again, we're saving some funds on this.
Well, thank you, Chief. And I make a motion that we approve item number 9 as written.
Motion by Ms. Fox that we approve item number 9 as written.
A second.
Second by Mr. Olson. This motion is debatable, amendable, requires a majority vote. It's open for discussion. All those in favor of accepting item number 9 as presented, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, say nay. The ayes have it, the motion carries, and we'll accept item number 9 as presented. Thank you. Number 10 on your agenda is tabled January 27th, 2026. Consideration and possible action on a variance request regarding the vegetative setback for the Montgomery Retail Development number 2402. Mr. Rosnowski.
Right. I will start and then Ms. Tilly will add, and I'll catch up because I know a handful weren't able to attend the last meeting. So this is the Montgomery Retail Development. It's the commercial site next to HEB. There's 3 variances that were requested, same that HEB had requested. There was the easement along the frontage to leave it in TxDOT right away because of the amount of spacing. That was approved at the last meeting. There was the vegetative setback of reducing it from 25 to 20 feet, as well as the utilities retaining walls within the setback. So the motion was approved for the easement as well as the retaining wall within the setback, but it was tabled for the minimum landscape setback, reducing from 20 to 25 feet along the rear property line. There were some questions on the vote, and there were some questions on P&Z's kind of stance and the reasoning behind it. One thing that I'll mention again is that this doesn't change the planting requirements, just like in HEB. They're still required to plant the same number of trees, shrubs, et cetera, to get the vegetative barrier, just within a 20-foot span versus a 25.
What's the reason for it?
The request, it's continuity. So now that there's a wall across the back, if they don't have that, this would, essentially, if you're going down the back of HEB, the wall would jump out 5 feet. And so they're looking for continuity, as well as obviously the site plan, and able to have that as a driveway.
So they don't have their own entry for backloading other than the HEB side? They don't have another side coming around?
So it's all, they will have additional driveways up on 105. In your packet, you have a copy of the site plan, preliminarily. But there is cross traffic between, which we would require that they allow cross traffic between the 2 sites. Page 67 of your packets shows that rough site plan. We'll add on the P&Z's vote.
Actually, Commission Member Miriam Walker is here if you have direct questions for her. It was clarified during that meeting. We only had 3 of 5 members there available at the meeting, so at least 3 of the members were able to speak on how they understood what the variance request was. I think there was a misunderstanding that they thought the 25 feet would turn into the 20 feet and it would reduce the amount of vegetation in that area, where it really didn't. It was just the setback. It didn't. The request for the variance was not for reducing the vegetation. It was just reducing the setback. And if
yes, and I was the council member that tabled the motion, mainly because there was a 5-0 vote, and I wanted to see, because all 5 of them did that, I wanted to understand what happened, and I didn't go to the next meeting. I don't feel like that was necessary, but I talked to Mr. Simpson, and he explained to me what happened, and although I understand how it went down in your explanation, I did have to get clarification on that. I am not opposed to the 20-foot setback.
Yeah, I think the biggest confusion was the amount they really were trying to protect the people that live behind there, and they just thought by reducing the 5 foot, they weren't gonna have enough trees, but as they did not realize, HEB met all of that and then some, so they came to the table. They just didn't understand that was the fact.
Yeah, and it wouldn't be consistent with our planning, you know, to have 2 different setbacks in that area, even though it's not prominent in your view, it's still not normal. And we don't want any kind of like favoritism to get involved in that, because we don't do favoritism here. We think, I know there was a comment for some of you absentee people that we're giving some of these companies favors, and I took
I'd like to see the list of what favors these people get, because no one has ever said that we've given anybody a favor that work with us. Actually, they get scrutinized, right? They feel like we beat them up. So so that just sounds like rhetoric to me.
And also, you know, it's a business decision that we've been voted on to make, and you know, we've got to weigh what's the advantages to Montgomery City and the people that live here, and that's our first concern. And so, you know, if people think we're giving them favors, we're not. We're doing what we think is right to bring economic development to this city, and that's the way we're going to continue to do it.
Correct.
So I make a motion.
Thank you for the clarification. Thank you, Tilly.
I make a motion that we accept agenda item number 10 as presented.
Motion by Mr. Donaldson that we accept item number 10 as presented. Seconded by Ms. Langley. This motion is debatable, amendable, requires majority vote. Open for further discussion. All those in favor of approving item number 10 as presented, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say nay. The ayes have it, the motion carries, and we will approve item number 10 as presented. Number 11 on your agenda. Consideration of possible action authorizing the mayor to sign the escrow agreement by and between the City of Montgomery and the developer NAPA.
Right. As self-explanatory in the name, NAPA Auto Parts is looking to do an expansion of their facilities. They're still working through final plans. So this is just a routine escrow agreement that they set up and put a deposit with the city to cover the city's incurred costs on it. As far as the individual development goes, there's a little bit extra because there is required some plating. That building's been there a long time. So there's some plating cleanup, some zoning cleanup, and based on where they're planning buildings, some floodplain items that they have to work through. So there's a little bit extra.
Looks like they're more than almost doubling their footprint.
It is. They're looking at a pretty significant expansion. We're also working with them on their driveways to how to clean that up, especially with the Tri-Point roadway coming in, how to clean kind of that entire area. So we started that conversation with them, and Westway, Mid-South's been involved, just to kind of clean up that intersection.
Tri-Point can get an agreement together on, since they'll be sharing the curb.
Correct. Yeah. Ideally is where they're able to connect to the new road that's coming through, and so you don't have, you know, 36-foot wide road next to a 50-foot wide driveway next to a 20-foot wide road.
That was my advice. We don't have any. I want to make sure that the development is going to
They're working
match
together.
up with the other one.
Yep.
Good enough. Make a motion to accept item number 11 as presented.
Motion by Mr. Olson that we accept item number 11 as presented.
Second.
Seconded by Mr. Donaldson. This motion is debatable, amendable, requires majority vote. It's open for discussion. All those in favor of accepting item number 11 as presented, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say nay. The ayes have it. The motion carries, and we'll accept item number 11 as presented. Number 12 on your agenda. Consideration of possible action authorizing the mayor to sign the escrow agreement by and between the City of Montgomery and the developer Cornerstone Church.
Very similar to the last, so this is standard escrow agreement between the city and Cornerstone. Cornerstone is looking to also do an expansion of their facility. They have purchased the property next door, so to the north, and so they're looking to expand that direction. Representative here, if you have any specific questions on their scope of improvements, but it's building expansion, parking expansion, and then everything associated.
I have seen trees coming down, and you know there was a flooding issue behind the property, so how is that getting mitigated?
don't know yet. So as far as the trees coming down, there have been conversations regarding making sure they have the right permits in place for clearing. And so I know Ms. Tilly has been in conversations with the church. And as far as their drainage plans, that's one thing they'll have to submit to us is as they're increasing impervious cover, parking, et cetera, how are they handling that to not cause.
So that vegetative setback is also part of that conversation because it doesn't look like there was anything natural left.
Correct, that'll be all part of that conversation. I'll have to go through the development plat process. The existing building is already, if I remember correctly, in the 25 foot. Nothing we can do, that's an existing, not used, you can't change that. But as far as the new facility, if they're requesting to be closer than what the ordinance allows, they would have to come back for variance.
And this is a building expansion or is this for parking?
I believe it is both.
Building.
The building.
Okay.
We're not
It's a lot of
expanding, we're not
impervious
expanding
space.
the sanctuary, so we're not expecting any additional people, which really just for childcare rooms. We only have 2 right now. So we want to enlarge our foyer and add 4 real-size classrooms.
Congratulations for your growth.
Thank you, thank you.
That's good.
And just for a point of clarity, I don't know exactly the
Feel free to
form.
come up to the podium just so you can be heard, please.
The whole reason we bought the additional acre is so we can make this expansion. Right now, the building's about 3,900 square feet, and we're looking at around 3,500 for the 5 classrooms and new bathrooms. So we're on 1 1/4 now, and it's going to be about 2 1/4. So we're doubling our space. So as we are also almost doubling our footage.
So is your parking going to be asphalt or is it going to be the riprap kind, like the?
We're not doing anything with it.
Sorry?
We're hoping not to do anything with it. Whenever we turn everything in after we have the plans and all drawn up and we present them, we're hoping that it still meets the plan of we'll just leave it alone and we're only going to do the building extension only.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Anyone else have any other questions?
I'll make a motion to accept item number 12 as presented.
Motion by Mr. Olson that we accept item number 12 as presented. Seconded by Ms. Fox. This motion is debatable, amendable, requires majority vote. It's open for discussion. All those in favor of accepting item number 12 as presented, say aye. Aye. Those opposed, say nay. The ayes have it, the motion carries, and we will accept item number 12 as presented. Congratulations. Item 13, consideration of possible action on the Lone Star Hills Section 1, WSD&P Plans, Development number 2404.
All right. If you remember, this is the Taylor Morrison development that's on the Lone Star Parkway, just to the east of Buffalo Springs. These plans were originally approved by council back in April of 2025. They started construction. They ran into the natural springs, and so there was a redesign that occurred. So they were doing additional drainage work, changed up the layout to account for the natural springs, and so this is just the reapproval or the approval of the amendments to those construction plans. It doesn't change much in terms of city's responsibility. They are still responsible for the drainage. They're responsible for the French drains. We had them clarify that on the plans. So all the agreements are still in place regarding the retaining walls within easements, whose responsibility those are, et cetera. So all that's been papered up. This is just reapproval of their plans so they can proceed with construction of the first phase of the water, sewer, drainage, and paving portion of the project.
So how do the plans change? Exactly.
So
There had to be retention walls, I know that.
they added, and I'm going to, Jonathan,
The footprint too.
can jump in, but essentially in the center of the development, there was a green space that is now larger, and there's a drain that goes through that collects that spring
Okay.
that was occurring. And then that gets routed through the storm sewer system down to the ponds. There are some minor kind of street changes within that.
I don't really see, I can't really tell.
There's not a whole, it's not like all the roads went from east to west to north to south.
Street pattern wise, it remained the same. We removed 4 lots right in the center, as Chris was indicating. That's where we're gonna keep we'll open up, we'll have the French drain, open it back up, allow it to go into the back of our storm sewer system. The storm sewer system free drains into the canal, so that'll relieve the pressure. That way something can always be able to run through. So not a whole lot has changed other than just taking out those lots. And then phase 2 changed a little bit because we had to redo some lots there, but we'll see that on the.
That's the result, that is your remediation plan, what you just explained, that's what the remediation plan?
Yeah, so there was a consultant, Geotech, actually a lot of consultants, but Geotech came in, recommended the French drain. We actually beefed up the French drain from the first recommendation. I think the first recommendation was only a foot of gravel for the washed aggregate. Moved to 4 foot, wrapped in geotech style fabric. We were going to bring it all the way through the subdivision, probably about 1,000 feet through lots, through streets. Realized it's probably not the best, so we turned it immediately, removed the lots to get it into our storm sewer system. So we reduced the amount of French drain drastically than what our first recommendation was. So those consultants were on board, signed and sealed. They've been worked on the French drains already. The lab's been out there testing to make sure it's all being installed properly with the mass grading effort. So all the consultants have been involved, signing off on everything.
So, quick question, this is an HOA neighborhood?
It's in a mud, and it will have HOAs.
Okay, so they'll be responsible for the maintenance of the French drain?
Yes, it's notated in the plans, likely the mud would.
That'll last forever, so, yeah, they silt up.
Yep.
So those ponds, are we worried about capacity?
For the ponds? No, I mean, the detention ponds, the detention pond in the back.
Well, so there's 2, right? So I just am curious if we're gathering that much more water, right? Because we've got now concrete down. Those ponds, the canal is what I'm concerned about, really. Let's get down to it. So, because that's a very sensitive area, and then having all of this additional runoff into there, can the ponds, 1, handle it, and 2, if they can't, what goes on in that?
So we did do a drainage study, so we do have detention capacity for this development. We did not do a large watershed analysis to try to use timing to our advantage to try to not have to do traditional detention. Consider it to be Lake Connor, we don't have to do detention. We did traditional detention in every shape, form that we could, just to justify that we are taking that additional volume of water, storing it, and trickling it out into the canal. Where we're outfalling is on our portion of the canal, we're not outfalling on their portion. We've also taken a lot of photographs up and down the canal pre-project condition, also as we go, so if there's any kind of documentation anybody's looking for, we can take a look at this for you. First project.
You know what we have going on Lone Star Parkway, that bridge and all.
Yes, ma'am, very well.
So, sensitive is a word. Thank you.
I make a motion to accept item 13 as presented.
Item 13 as presented by Mr. Olson. Motion.
Second.
Seconded by Mr. Donaldson. This motion is debatable, amendable, requires majority vote. It's open for further discussion. Those in favor of accepting item number 13 as presented, say aye. Aye. Those opposed, say nay. The ayes have it, the motion carries, and we'll accept number 13 as presented. Number 14 on your agenda, consideration and possible action on an ordinance by the City Council of the City of Montgomery, Texas, altering the prima facie speed limits established for vehicles under the provisions of 545.356 Texas Transportation Code upon the basis of an engineering and traffic investigation upon certain streets and highways of parts thereof within the corporate limits of the City of Montgomery as set out in this ordinance, and providing a penalty of a fine not to exceed $200 for the violation in this ordinance. Chief.
Mayor and Council, this was a study done on 2854 by TxDOT. The speed limit there was 60 miles an hour. After the study, they brought it down to 50. I spoke with them the other day, I gave them a call, because we would have liked to seen that at 45, so I wanted to know how they went about doing their study. And we talked about them doing the number of cars checked. They do driveways, they do different speed checks, but they get most of their information off of crash reports, the crash reports that we do at these intersections.
Are they looking at the ones with the new medians, those crash reports?
Yeah.
I'm just curious.
And so we just, so after our conversation, they kind of left it open. A couple of years we'll take a look at it once HEB is there it gets crowded in that area. And then we'll look at the crash reports again, and we'll go for another study. But right now, that speed limit's down to 50 miles an hour instead of 60.
And that's for how far? Just within our city limits?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, I hope not far, because if you wanted it 45 minutes, you don't commute that way, right?
Yeah. Right, you're absolutely right.
True story.
I'm talking about coming into our city limits, because that's where all the accidents come from. But I know once you get past that, you need to get back to 60 miles.
Yes, and that road's very crowded.
It is.
School zone.
Worse. It's getting worse every day.
Make a motion, we accept agenda item number 14 as presented.
Motion by Mr. Donaldson that we accept item number 14 as presented. Seconded by Ms. Fox. All those in favor of accepting item number 14 as presented, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say nay. The ayes have it, the motion carries. And we will accept item number 14 as presented. Number 15 on your agenda. Consideration and possible action on an ordinance authorizing the issuance of the City of Montgomery, Texas tax and revenue certificates of obligation, Series 2026, levying an ad valorem tax and pledging certain surplus revenues in support of the certificates, approving an official statement, a paying agent, registrar agreement, and other agreements related to the sale and issuance of the certificates, and ordaining other matters relating to the issuance of the certificates. Good evening.
Good evening, Mayor, members of council. For the record, I'm James Gilley with U.S. Capital Advisors. It's a pleasure to be here this evening. What I was going to say is that this morning we took bids for the sale of the city's certificates of obligation. You recall that the council adopted a notice of intention to issue those COs on December 9th of last year. So the package you have in front of you, the bids received are shown on page 1. As of the deadline at 10 a.m., we received a total of 8 bids. The best bid went to B of A Securities based out of New York City at a purchase cost of $3.649317. You may recall at the end of last year during the fall, we were conservatively estimating an interest rate somewhere in the lower 4s, 4.2 to 4.4. So we were trying to hedge a little bit, but we were hopeful that we'd get better than that. So this is certainly well under that. I think the city has overperformed. You'll see that.
Did you say overperformed? Okay.
I would say so, yeah. I think the city received the bids from investors across 6 different states across the country. So you got national attention. The second page shows the spread of the bids received, and we'd like to put this in here just to demonstrate the advantage of a competitive sale. So these underwriters were competing against each other to win your bids. And so you'll see a cluster of about 5 underwriters spread around 3.74, 3.75, and Robert W. Baird was about 3 or 4 basis points below that, but B of A Securities was better than Robert W. Baird by over 5 basis points. The high and the low bid were spread by 13 basis points. But when we see that cluster and that outlier, B of A Securities, that tells us that the city got the best price for its bonds this morning, the price in the market this morning. And so for some reason, B of A Securities really wanted to win the city's bonds, and so that's to the city's benefit. You'll notice the final par amount resulted in a $26,070,000. B of A's offered to purchase the bonds from the city at a premium, and part of that premium went to reduce the borrowing requirement. So the notwithstanding the par amount is $26,070,000. If council approves the bond ordinance, at closing, the city will receive the full $27,445,000 for its project funds.
That's good to know.
The final debt service numbers are contained in the packet, and the bonds were rated through Standard & Poor's. They signed a AA rating, which is an excellent rating for the city of your size. With growing pains, as I'm sure you know, I'd encourage you to read through it, but they did highlight that your strong fiscal results, your strong reserves. I'd encourage you to maintain that, maintain a sharp pencil and keep those cash reserves up. Again, if council approves the bond ordinance, it's expected to close in approximately 30 days, I believe March 10th, at which time the city will have funds in hand. Happy to entertain any questions, but I'd like to congratulate the city on an excellent result. We're very happy with the
Yeah,
results.
thank you. This was, we were happy with what you presented in December. This is even better, sweeter.
Any questions? I do have a few things I'd like to talk about briefly. The credit, right, for our good performance, obviously, we worked pretty hard in the last 4 or 5 years to get us in a place where commercial, large commercial, small commercial will come and be successful. That's a huge one. Our staff has done an excellent job every time we've asked in our budgets to, hey, let's squeeze them, let's get them down. They've done that, and then they've stuck to them, and that's huge, right? It's one thing to say, oh yeah, we can, and then it's a whole other thing to do it, and that's a big deal. So the credit goes out there to everyone. It's great, right?
It's
City's done a
favorable
very
for
nice
the
job.
city. Yeah. Yes.
If I may, for the benefit of the constituents listening, you've done all of this while maintaining a very low tax rate.
Absolutely.
That's right.
Yeah,
I'm not
that's
raised
another one. We didn't raise
Yep.
taxes.
That's right.
We did have to raise the water and sewer rates, but we are still at or below our surrounding neighborhoods.
It's been
So
8 years.
that's, it's just a testament to fiscal responsibility all around. So well done, city staff. Very well done.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Y'all have any other questions for James? Okay. It's a motion. A motion by Ms. Fox that we accept item number 15 as written.
I second.
Seconded by Mr. Olson. This motion is debatable, amendable, requires a majority vote. Are there any other questions? All those in favor of accepting item number 15 as presented, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say nay. The ayes have it, the motion carries, and we'll accept item 15 as presented. Thank you, sir. Number 16, consideration of possible action on a resolution of the City of Montgomery, Texas, designation of representative and alternate to the Houston-Galveston Area Council for the 2026 General Assembly.
Mayor and Council, I received this information request for an update, for an annual update, and if you don't mind doing a representative and an alternate, that would be great for the Houston-Galveston Area Council.
I was the designate and you were the alternate, but we were going together, and I'll throw a hat in the ring.
Sounds good.
I figured you'd think so. Would you like to maintain the alternate position? You want to?
Sure.
Yeah, either one.
Sure.
Yes. Yes. Okay.
What did Casey say?
It sounds good. I don't want it.
He doesn't want to go in down to Timmerman. Long ways. Okay. Okay, so this is there needs to be a vote, yeah? Motion?
Make a motion to nominate, or appoint, I guess it's appoint, Sarah Countryman as our representative and Cheryl Fox as our alternate, excuse me, for the Houston-Galveston Area Council for 2026 General Assembly.
Motion by Ms. I'm sorry, did you just second that? Okay, a motion by Mr. Olson, seconded by Mr. Donaldson, that we appoint Sarah Countryman as the representative for the Houston-Galveston Area Council and Cheryl Fox as the alternate for the 2026 General Assembly. This motion is debatable, amendable, requires majority vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say nay. The ayes have it, the motion carries. And we will accept the nomination of Sarah Countryman as the representative and Cheryl Fox as the alternate for the Houston-Galveston Area Council for the 2026 General Assembly. Departmental reports. Number 17, City Administrator Report on Municipal Complex. We've all been waiting for.
I sent this out to you by email, but also gave you a hard copy today. And I kind of wanted to go back over, you know, where we are and how we got here. You know, we started at the beginning conceptual design, and we got through that. We approved the A&E to move forward. They're working on that. I talked to John today, and they're really working on the outside. Next week, we are going to start going through each one of the offices and each one of the spaces, you know, to actually make a recommendation of what's going in there, so we can get, you know, even clear on this as far as security is. And, you know, there's just a whole bunch of parts of this. I know everybody wants it to hurry up, but this A&E part is just, you know, but it's necessary to get there. And so together with that, we kind of put this recommendation as how to move forward. We'll put some time schedules in there. And the real reason that we looked at this is it's likely we're going to have to take debt similar to what we just did to pay for this. And Chapter 2269 pretty much tells us exactly how we have to do this. You know, we have very few flexibilities there, and this construction manager process seems to be the clearest. It gives the council the most input as we go. As you can see, the steps, you will first, in which it'll be in the next meeting, you will authorize the RFQ. We'll go out for a construction manager in that process. You'll approve once we score all of those and bring those to you. You'll approve that, and then really the big one that's coming is the approval of the guaranteed maximum price. The guaranteed maximum price is, and if you talk about the terminology of this is a construction manager at risk. Now don't get that confused. The risk is on him. He gives us a guaranteed price and has to deliver this project to us at that price. So I think that's a great thing. You guys will have the opportunity to look at that price. You can reject that price. We can go back, you know, look where we can cut. I think this is a very good way. You know, Stan had brought that up, you know, back when, you know, we want to have that. And talking with the chief and going through all this looks to be the best way that we can control cost and move forward. I know somebody say, well, this is not very fast, but the government code just restricts us how fast we can move on this. You just have to go through these steps. But what I will say is the A&E portion of this is not going to end for 3 or 4 months. They're really in the beginning stages of this. We'll bring these different design ideas. They're working, you know, John had sent a message. I meant to get that in here, but I didn't. But basically he said, you know, we're listening. You know, I sent him the pictures that some of you had shared with me, and he said, I'm listening. I'm putting some brick in. You know, so you'll have the opportunity to discuss that with him. We're planning March for him to come, and then I think that's kind of the...
So let me ask, so when we purchased this building, the idea was we had reserves, and so the city was going to pay for the building, and then PD, through CCPD, was going to pay
exactly
for half the building, 3/4 of the building.
So here's how that's going to work. I can tell you exactly what that's going to look like, and we're
sorry, he popped him out of the chair when I said 3/4.
Well, to be honest, you know, this is a very large police department, but in order to maintain statutes, again, CCPD can only pay for the things that are related to the police department.
Correct.
So we're taking those out of there. We're taking the square foot of that, and when we work with him, you know, we can put this in the debt. We're going to look at what the city is going to pay, what the CCPD is going to pay, and we'll put that whole package together. That'll come as soon as we get to the GMP. Once we get that real price, right now we just have, you know, pie in the sky kind of. I mean, we have some good pricing. You know, these guys spend some time and get the prices as close as they can, but this will give us the real number that we're working with, and it'll give you the opportunity to look at that and go, oh no, we're not you know, or that's perfect, you know, this is exactly where we wanted to be, and hopefully that's the way it is. But let's just say we went with another method of this, like where we send out bids, you know, sealed bids and stuff. Well, if all the prices come in and at the end of those bids you go, I hate all these prices, you're starting over from the beginning. This gives us the opportunity to negotiate the price where you guys would like it to be.
And I think we all want something, I think we agree, we want something we're proud of, but we don't need the Taj Mahal.
Yes, yes, and this will give us the opportunity, and you guys the opportunity. This gives you a lot of control on the price, on the process, everything going forward.
On selecting the construction manager, how long is that RFQ going to be for?
It's about 60 days.
How long?
60 days. That's the standard.
Is that standard? Is that a law?
Pretty much, yeah, because we have to post it and leave it out. We have to get them back in. We just did that today, you
What's the
know.
minimum time
To get a construction manager?
posting it?
I'd have to check the statute. You might be able to get it down to about 45 days.
I'd like to see it at the very minimum.
But you're going to have certain publication requirements that are going to drive it.
Yes, I understand. Yeah.
Now,
I'm one of
60
those,
days is probably average if you want to know the truth.
but we're not average.
Well, you got to have some time to prepare a really good request so that you get what you want to.
And we have been working on that already. We've got, you know, the bones of this together.
Okay.
So that part shouldn't take us very long. I'll bring that to you the very next meeting. You approve it, we'll advertise it and get it out there.
So every meeting we should see progress and not, I don't have an update this week. Because I know, I mean,
Yeah,
I know that you're walking in mud. It doesn't, government moves really slow.
Yeah.
I understand that, but at the same time, we don't need a Prairie Street.
yes, no. And this is as close as I could get to the schedule, but I'll bring it every 2 weeks. We'll know exactly where we are. As those RFQ comes in, you know, we'll take the time. We've got to score those. We've got to make this, you know, fit the chapter 2269. We want to be as clean as we can. Because when we do go out for debt, whatever that looks like, we want it to be. And this was just an opportunity for you to ask any questions like you're doing, and
Is there any need to purchase, like, obviously it's a metal building, so we're gonna be needing more steel and metal to purchase that today because prices fluctuation. Is that advantageous so we can save, or is it?
it is real possible.
Okay.
And once we have, especially the construction manager in place, we'll work with the architects and the engineers that are doing all that and start looking at that list. That's where we start building that price. We'll know things that we need. We can order in advance for some of those kind of things. That's where we'll take advantage of the co-ops and the buy boards. And, you know, sometimes you can get some really good deals using it that way.
Okay. I didn't want to put the cart before the horse, but at the same time, I don't, things are not.
It's not a bad idea. It's a great idea because I've done a lot of projects, you know, COVID kind of messed things up, but I mean, we were a year and a half, you know, just getting parts to do a water well, and if you get stuck, you just get stuck.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you for doing this. All right. Next up, number 18, Municipal Court Report, January 2026. Ms. Duckett.
Good evening, Mayor, council members. The January citations are 126, and the revenue was $32,702.11. Do you have any questions for Municipal Court?
Do you feel like you're missing anything in your department? You're good?
I'll let you know, we're working on that.
New computer.
Yes.
You're getting a new computer?
I need one. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Duckett. Number 19, January 2026, Police Department Report. Chief.
Evening again, Mayor and Council. You have the report before you. Have any questions? Glad to answer.
Chief, this is time for you to brag on yourself.
What's that?
What compliments did you get the last couple of weeks from new residents?
Oh, we're getting it from our guys are getting those compliments from the new people who moved in.
I've received
In
some
the new
too.
subdivision, they've been having some complaints with the people coming in too soon. Sometimes, one guy came in because they were pouring concrete at 1 o'clock in the morning, so he couldn't sleep. So the next time they went out at 5 a.m. because the truck was making so much noise. And during that point, my guys ended up arresting the guy who had some felony drug warrants from the U.S. Marshal, so he didn't get a chance to get back in his truck.
Officers.
So that being said, Chief, we obviously have ordinances against pouring concrete.
Yes, absolutely, noise
So
ordinance.
are we issuing?
Yes, because we didn't really know until the first guy and his wife came in. And 1 o'clock in the morning is a ridiculous time to be pouring concrete. But it was one of the builders over there trying to get ahead. They built a lot of houses over there. I was over must have been Friday, just kind of taking a look. They've built a lot of houses. They've got a lot of houses sold. They almost got more houses sold than they have available. So yeah, we've been making a point to have our guys go through. What was really happening is the people there would call dispatch, and dispatch would send them to the county, and then that's much longer for the county to get out. So we've informed them when they get on the phone with dispatch to advise them that they live in the city of Montgomery. And so they've been doing that. We've been pretty much getting out. Issuing some citations.
We issued the citations to the builder, correct?
Yeah, issued citations.
And took the gentleman to jail.
Yeah.
Arrests are a little bit alarming in the month of January. Is that due to holiday 16? That's the most we've ever had in a month?
I wouldn't say that. It's just rest. You know.
I know.
Thank you.
I will say the developers have been responsive to the stuff going on.
Yes. January 2026 Development Services Report. Ms. Tilley.
Good evening, Mayor, council members. See my report, the numbers on there. You know that activity is still high. We still get plenty of requests for preliminary meetings, even just some thoughts that people might have. It doesn't even get to the preliminary meeting portion, but just ideas with some of the vacant lots that we have, opportunities that they see because of the growth, especially the commercial growth. So there are a lot of people with a lot of ideas wanting to come into the city.
And when you say outside jurisdictions, I mean, somebody thinks that they're in the city of Montgomery, but they're not, and you fielded the question. Okay, just making sure.
Yeah, there's plenty of times where I have to clarify with them. They may have a mailing address with Montgomery in their mailing address, but they don't understand that they're not actually in our jurisdiction. But I also get calls from Porter and Shenandoah and everywhere.
Thank you, Ms. Tilley, I appreciate you. 21, Building Official Report for December 2025, Rick Hanna.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. My report's there just to summarize more activity. What's surprising is these guys are failing lots of inspections. One of your inspectors, the Eagle Scouts, getting very frustrated going back out time after time and the same mistakes getting made. So if any of you could counsel with him, I could have some adoption papers ready by Thursday and take him over. But it is a little frustrating. It's a big toll on the permit tech, all the re-inspection fees. I mean, these guys are failing and they're calling and making payment and wanting to schedule a re-inspection again just to keep things moving. As you may have noticed, HEB has started vertical. They've got a concrete block going up and the steel trusses going in. The bank across the street by Wendy's is getting real close to being finished. A bunch of stuff going on in Briarley. So it seems like what I understand talking to some of the builders in there, that price point, a lot of people are selecting a home to be built, so there's more contracts, some of the new starts that we're adding, and they've got some inventory built up because people are coming in and want to buy one, start or finish, they'd rather start one. Lot going on. Any questions?
Is this the platform in which to share what you shared with me before the meeting, or is that something I should ask to have put on an agenda?
No, I just wanted you to be aware of some of the
Well, it's
issues.
something that's definitely we need to address up front with these developers, just to ensure that it's not repeated. So I don't know if you want to share that, or I can share it with council.
I'm happy to mention in Briarley, when the houses started getting developed, the people started putting up fences, they were called good neighbor fence, which means they've got pickets on one side and the next panel of pickets on the other side. If they put a mid-rail up, that creates a ladder effect. So in the future, if somebody wants to put a pool in, it makes it difficult because you have to go to your neighbor to correct their side of the fence for your pool to meet the building code. And I try to point this out to the builders up front, you know, raise those mid rails or whatever. We've had several emails back and forth, so I think the consensus is on the new designs, they'll just not put the mid rail in, but the 40 or 50 houses that have fences now are gonna have a problem. Same folks that had over in Catula, they're the first people who want to put in a pool, so we're trying to come up with a means to where they can modify the fence. It won't be too expensive where they'll meet the code. So it's
That's
just
something to keep at top of mind and when we're meeting with developers.
my irritant is when the developers come in and make these presentations, they're always saying we want to be a good partner with the city, but when it comes down to it, it's, you know, they're doing it for the easiest, quickest way out, and then now the homeowner in this situation sit trying to get the fence up to code. So
Thank you.
yes, ma'am. Anything else? Thank you all.
22, finance report, December 2025.
Mayor, council, you have my cover sheet, or I talk about, kind of, we looked at those old accounts that you had talked about. We're working on it. I did think, I wanted to point out the fact that 4 of those accounts make up more than half of that balance. And essentially what it was is there is a developer that had a contractor that was putting in irrigation. The accounts were set in the contractor's name, not in the developer name. And so we're working to get that resolved. It's a them situation, so we're working on it. I will also say that we had the first round of billing with the new utility rates. We had a couple hiccups along the way, but we have resolved that. We did have to rebill irrigation. There was a flip-flop in the irrigation rate for the less than 1 inch and greater than 1 inch. When I did my review, I swear to goodness that I looked through everything, and I did. That particular piece does not come out in the report that I reviewed. No. And so we realized it after the fact, actually realized it on the public works side when they were coding the utility bill. And we're like, wait a minute, what happened to the irrigation rate? And so that's where we caught it. We rebuilt and notified customers.
Is that everyone? Because I did not get a rebill, but I know someone that's got very interesting.
So yeah, the irrigation piece. So what happened is if you had a less than 1 inch irrigation, you were charged a higher rate. And if you had the greater than, you were charged a lower rate. So we reversed them. It took us several days to get some guidance from Tyler Technologies on how to handle that. There were 167 accounts impacted. And so we finalized that on Friday. Emails, they were still working on sending out the emails and the paper bills yesterday. But it has been corrected. We will work with anybody if we end up with an issue, with them not being notified or something. It wasn't as significant. Those that had, it was like a $21 or $23 difference on the base rate. The consumption piece of it was fine. It's the base rate.
Any other questions about my report?
Just one. On page 1 of your, towards the bottom under Department 13 core totals, and it says expense total revenues, total expenses. Under variance favorable, unfavorable, is that a typo? -5 and then a 6? Because -5 minus 6 is not 641, it's -11.
Okay, so you're looking at the budget report group summary, right? Is that the one you're looking at?
Yes, ma'am.
And,
Down at the bottom right, we're looking at total revenues, total expenses, be 5,443,000 and 6,084,000, and the -5 million. So if we do a -5 million minus 6 million, you should not have.
can I come see what you're saying?
It should be a -611, so.
So that information automatically comes from the system.
Okay,
So it might be, it's just comparing.
because it looks like a typo, because these are subtracted, and if you subtract from a negative number, you get a bigger negative number, so.
So what that's going to be is parts of these columns go from top to bottom and others of these go across, okay? So what you are looking at here is
What I'm looking at though is if you subtract those numbers right there, and it's not a typo, that's the total. But it should be in negative.
I'll have to look at it, but what I'm saying is it's potentially going across, not top to bottom. So I will look at it and explain it to you and give you an explanation for it, because I don't know without looking at all of the columns together.
Okay, but I'm just saying.
It's coming straight from the.
If you subtract that from that, you would get this, right? But the way that this is written, it should be a -11.
Right, but I think what it
I'm assuming is that
is.
it's adding it, and it should still be a negative, because that's an expense. There's a typo there.
So it's
There's
coming
something
straight from
weird.
the system.
Something
Yeah, it
doesn't
comes
make
straight
sense.
from the system, so that's why I'll have to look at it. It's one of those friendly info. What is a variance in real life versus a variance in what you budgeted? And so I will look at that and I will send you an explanation as to
Thank you.
where the calculation is coming from. All right, any other questions? All right.
Thank you. All right, number 23, Public Works Monthly Report for December 2025. Mr. McElroy.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. You have the report in front of you, and I gave you all some year-end data to look at. Go over, just total work orders completed. We went up about 20% from 24 to 25. Utility locates, I told you I'd provide that number to you, broken down by the month and then an overall for the year. Over 5 years, you can see how they steadily increase. So yeah, we're steadily getting busier and doing more all the time. Be happy to answer any questions you have on the report or any of the numbers that were provided.
So just for clarification, I'm not trying to put salt in a wound. The community center, we have professionals doing the cleaning and y'all are just doing, okay.
Yep.
Just making
And
sure.
they're doing an excellent job.
Good.
Yeah.
Okay, just want to make sure that it wasn't your guys doing, because I thought we were going to get a cleaning crew to not have your guys. Okay, just making sure for the
We
record.
actually are having them do the community center, Fernland Park, and our public works office, which we've just slowly acquired stuff over the years. And
So you're having that company do that?
yes, ma'am.
Because I seen that the guys was cleaning the windows on the outside.
Yeah, we did get that done, yeah. That was part of the,
They're good with that, I bet.
well, the original bid to clean the inside, the outside of the windows, the screens had to be removed, so we said we would handle that. So they did get that complete last week.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, number 24, Utility Operations Monthly Report for December 2025.
All right, you have the report in front of you. Just want to make the statement that the plants are running good. We've been working good with Mike and Eric, responding to issues and doing maintenance of the facilities. And so, don't really have anything else to report unless you guys have any questions on my report.
The accountability is down.
Yeah, we're doing additional flushing like we've been doing, as we're getting into this year. Probably what we need to do is bump what our estimated number is on that flushing. That kind of helps balance that number a little better. Looks a little better on the report. But we do additional flushing during this time of year, not only because we've got the other plan online now and we've changed directions, but also just because water usage has dropped so much.
Right.
So we want to keep all those big mains that we have out in the system that we, may not have a neighborhood tied onto yet. We want to keep that flushed out and fresh.
Good. Okay. Okay.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. Last but not least, 25 engineers report, Mr. Resnowski.
All right. Starting on page 231 of your packet. I never go as fast as everyone else, but I will hit the highlights. Downtown improvements, we have a meeting next Tuesday with MEDC to go over updates to that project, as well as we're working on a meeting with the subcommittee we've talked about to make sure everyone is involved, different stakeholders on that. So we have all of our subs kicked off. We have an updated layout based on the feedback that we had received when we last walked the site on putting the sidewalks on one side, so that will all get presented to MEDC next week. Items 2 and 3 are the projects that are being funded by the COs that we just approved. Both of those are going well. We should get final plans for those very soon. So the goal here is as soon as the funds are available, that we're soon after moving to bids on those two projects. Item 4, the Bishop Hunt 3 addition project. They had, like with a lot of equipment, lead time is, so there's not been a lot of movement. They are mobilizing on Monday to get that installed. So they did some of the initial groundwork, piping work in order to prep for it, and now they have the rest of the materials, so they are moving on site on Monday to get that wrapped up. Moving on to the second page, the College Street project. That contractor is finalizing the punch list items. They were out there today doing some final cleanups, sod work, etc. Overall, that project is wrapping up, and we're working through the grant administrator to make sure they have all the paperwork they need, since that was funded by the grant. Lift Station 10, Phase 2 improvements. So again, the contractor moved on site. They did a lot of the work. Now they're waiting on equipment, so they will move back on site around the 23rd of this month. Move a little bit quicker, Lift Station 5. That one we're working with your staff and attorney on a letter of credit. This is what we had discussed about the payment plan with them. So I think they're close, and that will be on your next agenda. Lone Star Parkway water line, that is substantially complete. They're addressing punch list items. Both the Buffalo Springs projects, the roadway and the improvements, are well into design. The linear utility project we expect to probably bid here in March. Simonton and Lawson Waterline Project. So this is the Superior Properties up on Simonton and Lawson, where they're upsizing and creating a waterline loop. We opened bids for that project on Thursday. So we will, potentially at your next meeting, it could be the first meeting in March. Developer has kind of requested to slow a little bit. They're funding the project. And so once we get the bids, we'll present to them and then bring it to you after that. HEB's infrastructure is underway. The bore underneath 2854 has been completed. They're working on the sanitary and the rest of the water and sewer in that area. Planned plot reviews, there's a lot of them. I think we have 10 or so in report right now. We sent back 3 today, or almost sent back 3. The KH development, which is the 2 houses on College Street. We sent back comments to their final plat for it. They're pretty minor, and we sent back approval on the plans for the grinder pump. And then what I do want to know, because we've discussed this in the meeting before, is the gas station at Lone Star Parkway in Buffalo Springs. So obviously they've been on hold for a while. They have requested, and I think we talked about this at a previous meeting, to do retaining walls and put it right on the property line. So you have to go to property owners. They decided not to. So instead they are removing the entire back drive and putting plantings instead. So
keeping the car wash that's abutted.
Car wash is in the same spot, but they're not building it because it meets the building setbacks, but they're not building it at this time.
They're not building it.
They're not. So it's future, not saying they won't, but they are not
As of
building.
today, that's
as of
not in
right
the
now.
plans.
So there's
Fantastic.
no longer going to be, because the original plans had a driveway around the back of the building. That is now gone. There's only a sidewalk to get to the back doors, and then it'll be a slope, and then they're putting plantings in between the building and the residents. So we have not released approval on that because they owe an escrow balance, so we want that trued up before we release final plan approval. All the other items are ongoing public projects or ponds, pictures on each. Legacy Grove, they're about, you'll see on page 5 of our report, they are wrapping up, or they're about 70% or so complete with paving in that section. Montgomery Bend, section 3, they're working on they're having to do a slight redesign and reconfigure. They had a bird bath in the street, so they're adding another inlet. So that gets.
Did you say bird bath in the street?
Bird bath in terms of where the street is holding water.
Okay.
So they looked at different options. One of the options they requested was to do a valley gutter. So when you drive through, you would dip.
Gotcha.
We said we did not want that. We would rather have a smooth transition, and so they're installing an inlet instead to pick up the flow versus it holding. Talked about Lone Star Hills. A couple other items to note is, as Mike mentioned, there's a lot of activity in the city, and contractors are hitting everything. So Hills.
Still stealing water?
No, I don't. Water theft.
It's occasionally. We caught one the other day. He may or may not have gone to jail. I can't remember. Yeah, they didn't take him immediately, but I think they were looking to do a warrant to go back later and get him. So yeah, we're still catching them
Great job
occasionally.
catching
PD helps us out tremendously on it.
Jeez.
For sure. So we had a couple items hit in Hills of Town Creek, section 5. That's been addressed. There was another one last Thursday night. They got hit in Briarley, the force main coming from that lift station. So that got repaired Thursday night, Friday morning. Those developers are paying those costs. We give them the right to fix it. If they refuse, or if there's, in the case of Briarley, the crew couldn't be there for a couple days, so we can't have the force main down for that long. Hayes did the repair between Public Works and we'll backbill developer, where they were aware of that. Other items to note, Lone Star Parkway expansion by the county. We continue to coordinate with them. We had emails with them today just regarding utility locate, so they're still early in the process, but that is still moving forward. And other than that,
Chris, where is the Kindig East?
so they sent us some revised items, and we're going through the process of reviewing. My understanding is they were coming back in March to do an update.
So they were coming back in last May, I don't know if we've seen it.
No, March is the latest edition.
And I think we've blown out all the milestones that were set forth in the very beginning. It's been, well, disappointing.
So I can
do we need them anymore?
Update if you would like.
We don't have any of the ordinances.
Well, the
back.
ordinance is back yet, but I mean, I'm wondering if there's not another way we can do the ordinances. I mean, what?
Well, once they finish, we're done with it, but
And what is-
part of the reason that we blew through our timelines is because it was our own fault. We fired everybody that was supposed to be contacted.
Well, I don't think that they were working anyway on that, but given what Ken Dickey said, but.
I think we've got it almost caught up.
Okay.
We're having a meeting here shortly to tie everything on the 2 chapters that we're working on. Those are the main chapters that have created some issues with
That was the
trees.
point, to have them here so we can get ahead of all of this development. Now we're right in the middle of it all, and we still don't have updated ordinances.
Yeah, and we expressed that today, and so we're gonna have a quick meeting. We're gonna get on the same page. We're gonna bring it back to whatever the workshop, you know, whether it's all of council or, you know, a combination of whatever. And I think at that point, we're good to implement the UDO and move forward. There's always gonna be some touches, but.
Sure.
You say shortly, that means like next meeting, the following meeting.
Council meeting? I think we're gonna do it as a workshop, so we're gonna schedule it in between. because I think we need to go to planning and zoning and then come to council, and maybe that'll be I think we'll go to planning, zoning first, touch all of that, and then bring it straight to council, and I think we're good. You agree, Tilly? Sort of? She was on.
Sorry about that.
You on the page, Tilly?
We're still talking about it, I can't see.
Okay.
So I have updated maps in the back showing the status of all the developments, your recent pre-development meetings that we've had the past 30, 45 days, and then a map showing where all the capital projects are ongoing.
So Chris, and I wasn't here last meeting, was there any talk about a capital budget?
So there was talk about a capital budget workshop, and I know Zach and staff had a conversation about timing. I don't know where that ended up.
I can't remember the date off the top of my head, but yeah, there's one coming.
Okay, so when? No. So we should.
Actually, he met with what?
Yeah, he met with me to go over several things, and then he was supposed to be sending out a message to Ruby to send out a question on dates, possible dates.
Yeah, so we're almost 6 months into our year, and we should have had our capital budget in October. So we're 6 months behind.
Well, this is prep for the next budget, though.
So we don't have one for this year, is what you're saying? I don't believe that. We cannot do a capital budget for 2026.
Well, a capital budget is really a capital plan. It's not a budget. It's really a plan that tells you what you're going to spend within that fiscal year.
Absolutely, we haven't seen one.
We don't really have any capital that was in the last fiscal year, but we will, which will be all of the stuff that they're getting ready to put in there.
So we're not spending, I'm going to repeat what you just said to me, Brent. Please don't take this as me being condescending, but it's a little aggravating. You're telling me that we have not spent any money in capital projects in the year 2026 because that's why we don't have a budget. I'm sorry, that's not true.
You went over to capital budget during the budget season.
No, we did not. That's exactly why I'm asking for a capital budget.
Didn't we have it during the budget season?
So there was the combination of the workshop that we only in relation to the bonds.
That's right. I was going to say for the bonds.
Right. We looked at it in relation to the bond projects. Most of the items on this list are developer or grant funded projects. But as far as what else needs to be done, no, that is the workshop that's coming up.
The other capital item that's happening right now is with your ARPA funds.
Right.
So he's correct as far as city funds being used. These capital projects are developer funded or ARPA funded.
Okay.
So yes.
It really will. You'll really see the difference when we get into road maintenance and stuff, which is part of what we're getting ready to do. And I agree that it should be at the budget season, at the beginning of the budget, so you can see that. It's just that we really didn't have a lot, other than some stuff that Mike was going to do with the parks and, those kind of things. There was nothing.
We just had a roadmap for future, and that's what the bonds were about, that roadmap to get that.
That's really where the big.
And all of that.
Right. Those are obviously the largest projects.
I hear what you're saying.
Programming the capital budget into a summer conversation in advance of the budget season is easily done.
I thought this church that's on the development, I thought they were going to go behind the pizza shack, and they're now coming in.
So they have gone quiet, the Nantucket development.
On Lone Star Parkway.
Oh, that one.
Yeah.
So on Lone Star Parkway, Superior Properties, so they are a portion of it. We haven't seen anything final. Is a church would go on the, so going on those whole
Wait, that's part of the Superior property? So that's part,
so part of it. So part of the western portion of Superior Properties is the multifamily.
That's right.
You have the eastern strip.
Industrial.
That's commercial zone. And then that middle chunk at the end of Simonton and Lawson is where we have heard the church is looking. My understanding is that that deal has not been finalized, but that is.
We had this pre-development meeting with them, and yeah, they have an idea and all that, but they haven't purchased the property yet.
Right.
Brent, that is the same one that came to P&Z last time, wasn't it?
Say it again?
Wasn't that the same church that came to P&Z?
Yes.
And that's part of the developer's request to delay starting the water line project. So we'll hold the bids because they're trying to work out the deal with the church on the funding of the project.
Any other questions? I'll entertain a motion.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Do you mind if I walk you through this?
Sure.
Because I think I know where we're
If
at.
you've got it right now, let's do it.
If you look at page 187 in your packet, I'm going to try to help clarify. This is one of those accounting things where a negative is positive and a positive is a negative. Okay, so at the top of the page where we look at the revenues, the general fund revenues, original total budget and your total current budget are the same. And we haven't had any budget amendments so far. Your period activity relates to the date at the top, so this is the month of December. Fiscal activity is October, November, December. To the right of that, you have this variance, favorable or unfavorable category. And in that, on the revenue side, we need to get another $5.4 million in revenue in order to meet our budgeted number. Okay? Now, if we come down below, each department is divided out. Same thing here, total budget, current budget, period, fiscal activity, and favorable or unfavorable. In the expense portion, this means that you have that much money left to spend before you would be unfavorable. When we get down to the bottom portion, you have your expense total of all of the departments above, and then it pulls the revenue from the top portion down. Okay? So in the first column, total budget, your total expense budget is $7.7 million. Your total revenue is $8.1. Our surplus at the end of the year is $441,000. Okay? When we come over to the period activity, I'm going to go to the fiscal activity. Okay? So we've had a total expenses so far of $1.6 million, and we've had total revenue of $2.7 million. So that means we have $1 million right now, right? We've got $1 million in expenses we have not incurred.
Right.
The next column, which I think is the column you're referring to, Casey, this is what is showing in order, if the fiscal year ended right now, our surplus, instead of being $441,000, would be $641,000. So the negative that you're seeing there is the shortfall to get you to your budget, your revenue. The $6 million, it's not a negative because that's how much in expenses you still have. Does that make sense? I know it seems weird, it's just that accounting thing. That's why I'm saying sometimes it's across, sometimes it's down.
I know this one is down.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm looking at it going, I know this is a down column.
The best way to look at that is to look at page 192, which is the fund summary, and it kind of takes out all of those other ins and outs. And if you look over at the side, if you look at the very top where it says general fund, all the way over to the right-hand side, currently, if you were to end today, the fiscal year, you would be $641,000 to the good. And on the right, or the left side, it says we thought we were going to get 441,000. Does that help?
Yep.
Okay, thank you. I just thought it was easier to walk you through it than it was to try to.
Numbers, I mean, it just pulls them off the bottom.
Yeah.
It's the exact same numbers, it's just.
Yeah, this just gives you a summary of all the funds, whereas the pages preceding it give you each fund kind of by categories.
Yeah, it's just, I don't use negatives when I do budget.
Trust me. I agree with that. But yeah, it's the way the system has to see it in order to be able to do the ins and the outs, so.
Thank you.
All right, you're welcome.
Council, I'll entertain a motion. Make a motion to approve all the departmental reports. Motion by Ms. Langley that we approve all the departmental reports as presented. Seconded by Ms. Fox. All those in favor of accepting the departmental reports as presented, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say nay. The ayes have it, the motion carries, and we will accept all the departmental reports as presented. Next item on your agenda is executive session, number 26, closed session. City Council will meet in closed session pursuant to the provisions of Chapter 551 of the Texas Government Code in accordance with the authority contained in A, Section 551.074, Personnel Matters, City Administrator. It is 7:37, and we will head into executive session. No
snack. And some juice boxes.
It's cool in here. I was starting to.
It was cooler in there too, but then it's cool now. Alright. It is 8:32, we are back into open session, and item 27, there is nothing to discuss, so we'll move on to council inquiry. Do we have any questions?
I don't have an inquiry, but I do want to thank you all for, thank you very much.
Okay, absolutely. All right, closing agenda, item 28, items to consider for placement on future agendas. Nothing? Okay. 29, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Motion by Ms. Langley, second by Ms. Fox. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right, it's 8:30 and we will adjourn. Thank you.
I was going to say, I got that eye.
Oh, yeah.
Stand up at work.
James with the lease agreement.